Hi, welcome to Scriptures Unveiled. Last time we're in Daniel 1, and last time we were talking about the names from verse, I think it's verse 6 and 7.
Yes.
And how the original name from Jerusalem, which means peace, is kind of a picture of that higher mindset. In that then when they were educated by the king, which was Nebuchadnezzar, the king, that means confusion in Babylon, then it brought confusion into them. And they went to an old mindset. They were trying to conform them into that old mindset by declining them.
Yes.
And so you were talking the other time, at the end we were talking, but then we ended it, but Azariah,
yes. Yes.
Right, and Abednego.
Yes, because Azariah was saying how his original name was God serves or God helps. And when his name was changed to Abednego, it's serve, to serve or servant of God.
Okay.
And I was saying how, and it was the opposite of each other, how Jesus came to remind us of who we are.
Right.
And so when he came to remind us of who we are, that God helps from within, we're not his servants. That's what he said. He said you would not call me servants.
He did say that. We're not servants.
Yes. Here we can see that degrading mindset where it's calling them to serve, like you're always seeing to serve God. And that is that degradation, that lower self. But the higher self is God helps or serves from within.
Right. And the higher mind is that mind of Christ that's in us.
That's in us.
Right. And it's not by the outward flesh.
It is. And
right.
I loved how Jesus reminded them by saying, you're not servants.
Right. And so now what's happened is, before we came into this world, we had that higher mindset. We didn't remember when we came into this world.
We lost
the memory.
Yeah.
So we conformed to that old.
Yes.
And so now it's a matter of us coming back into that higher mindset, the Christ mind in us, that new.
Yes.
And so that's kind of what we're coming from.
Yes.
And so we're going to go to Daniel 1:8 because that was one that we dropped off at. And so, but Daniel made up his mind that he would not defile himself with the king's choice food or with the wine which he drank. So he sought permission from the commander of the officials that he might not defile himself. So the word defile himself is really the picture of that false identity, that old man or that fallen mindset or identity. And because it's from the king, and that king is representing the lies from this world that we feel defiled.
Yeah.
And it's the who I am not.
Yes, rather than I am.
Right. And the king's choice food is really a picture of the world system.
Yeah.
It's eating from that tree of the knowledge of good and evil that brings us under judgment.
Yes.
And the wine is really a picture of the old wine. And again, the fallen mindset. Because that's what that old is, under that king.
Yes.
So confusion and
judgment.
Judgment.
With groans and tears.
Yeah, you said with judgment with groans and tears, which is what Nebuchadnezzar,
that's what
his name means.
Yes.
So then we go to 10. And 10, we're just going to skip over 9, but 10 says, and the commander of the officials said to Daniel, I am afraid of my lord, the king, who has appointed your food and your drink. For why should he see your faces looking, what was that word? Looking?
Worse.
Worse. Okay, sorry, I couldn't read the thing.
Yeah.
That the youths are your own age, then the youths your own age, then you would make me forfeit my head to the king. So, anyways, the officials in there, or the commander actually, start with the commander of the officials, the word Sar. And Sar is a picture of the ego. It's the picture of being the commander, being in charge. It's that separation from God.
Yes.
Because we see it in the picture Sarah.
Yes.
Sarah in the Old Testament, when her name was changed from Sar, commander, to, and they added the hey at the end, which is the Sarah. It changed it to princess. It changed it, her name drastically. because now it was noblewoman or princess. And hey in the Greek is kind of an open window, like an open heart.
Yeah.
And the ha is like a breath of God.
Ooh,
is how the Israelites
good.
see it. And
Oh,
so
that's good.
so
Yeah.
it really did change that.
Yeah.
And the officials is a eunuch. And we know that eunuch is a castration.
It is.
So
That's
we were saying it was
separation.
separation.
It is.
And you can't be one.
And you can't have intimacy where you reproduce.
Right. There's no seed.
Yep.
No reproducing, and you see God outside yourself.
Yes.
So that's that picture.
That's good.
So
I like that.
yeah. So he said, I am afraid. That's the fear of God.
Yeah.
He says, I'm afraid of my Lord, the King.
Yes. And I was saying how that Lord and that King are lowercase. Once again, it's just seeing yourself from the lower self. You know, it's the King and the Lord of this world. So he's very afraid because he doesn't know his identity. He said, I'm afraid, the eunuch that can't reproduce. He said that I am afraid of my Lord, the King, who has appointed your food and your drink. So he's seeing himself under that judgment.
That lower self, that lower
self,
thinking.
Lower thinking, which is the separation, you know, from God. It's just like the Israelites who feared going on the mountain because they were afraid.
Yeah.
When you're separated from God, you see the Lord and you're afraid.
Right. And
know?
remember, it was of the King. So
Yes.
the King being the world system.
Yes, the judgment of this
the judgment of this world. And fear is really the awe of God. It's not to be afraid.
Yes.
It's more being like, wow.
Like, oh my gosh, he wooed me.
Wow. Yeah, it's a drawing in. The fear of God draws you in.
Yes.
Where the fear of this world will like make you, retract back.
And what we're doing is we're seeing God in that.
Right. So this was,
Fear.
so this talking here in this verse was a distorted fear.
Yes.
And so not the fear that is a reverence fear. So we're going to get into this
Yes.
again, the next part of this scripture, next time. So we'll see you next time.
All right. Thank you for joining us. Please be sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and make a comment.